All right, guys, welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. Hopefully, you can hear me loud and clear. Today, we're going to dive into um, a very new case, the Devil's Den murders. Today, we titled it Who Killed Clinton and Cristen Brink? And I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Have you guys even heard of this case yet? Where are you guys on this one? That way, I know where to begin. I think what we'll do is go over a basic overview that'll include incident details, suspect description, things like that, investigation, what's going on, what's going on with the investigation, any updates. We'll look at who they were, and I'm referring to Clinton and Cristen Brink. That might tell us a little bit about why they were targeted, maybe not. I feel like this might even be a serial case. Those are the vibes I'm getting, but any piece of information can throw that in a whole nother trajectory. We'll try to profile this killer with information that we have right now, whatever's been made public. We'll do our best. The Sleuth Crew amateur profile, right? We'll look at some other cases very similar. Well, actually, we'll look at one case, Mary Cooper and Susanna Stodden. That took place in Pinnacle Lake, Washington in 2006. That's the first case that came to mind after I started getting those serial killer vibes, was Mary Cooper and Susanna Stodden. 2 people hiking, 2 people killed by gunshot wounds, displayed, left there on an open trail, unsolved killer, believed to be a white male. So we'll spend some time on that, and we'll go in that order. But first things first, let's see who we got in the house today. Karen Hick, what's up? Good to see you. She Warrior, welcome in. Mark, what up, Mark? Louise, good to see you. Moon Shadow. All right, who we missing here? Patty. Patty's here. Homie, don't play that. What up, Jay? Good to see you. Ruckus, good to see you, Ruck. Hey, Chief Keef, what's going on? I'm from where this happened. Never had to lock my door at night before this. You know what? I struggled finding similar cases. It's not a high crime area, so I don't know if these two are being targeted. Another thought that popped into my mind was they recently moved. The move was so recent that it's not registered. So if you go look up the victims, you're not going to see the new address pop up. So it's very recent. They did spend some time in California, and the move was very recent. So why did they move? There's a lot we don't know. Was the wife being stalked? Was the husband having some kind of confrontation? That might give us some clue that might have motivated this killer. But right now, the vibes I'm getting are serial killer, right? Duct tape over the license plate. Killing the couple, Clinton and Cristen, right in front of their children. I feel like that was part of it. I feel like that was part of the horror of it. Maybe it had something to do with his childhood trauma. Spread around. Thank you for that. Louise says devastating. Yeah, and it just doesn't make any sense. You know, I can see if maybe the kids were walking alone and somebody targeted them, like a Richard Allen type, looking around, doesn't see the parents, targets the children, maybe for an like a sexual assault, not realizing the parents are like right there, just out of sight. You know, come running. There's an altercation, but there wasn't anything like that reported that I know of. This was just some weird attack. Couple's been married for a long time. I think all the children, I believe, have the same mother and father. Please correct me in the chat if I'm wrong about any of that. What's going on, Beth Gonzalez? They just released a photo of the suspect. Not the sketch, but a photo. Wait, what do you mean? There's a photo of the guy? This is all I have right here. That's the sketch that I have. If there's a photo released, let me know so that I can put it up on the screen. Do they have a suspect? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. Bobby, yes, I know about this one. Good to see you, Bobby. Law enforcement said the parents died protecting their children. Yeah, a lot of times though, you got to be careful with that, Louise. The media likes to put certain spins on things. You know, try to give it a good headline, but we really don't know what happened. You know, the killer may not have been targeting the children and just was looking for two specific victims. Maybe even a mother and a father, right? This could have something to do with his childhood trauma, could be targeting them and who they are, not them personally, but just what they appear to be, right? A loving couple, mother and father, having a beautiful day with their children. They were avid hikers, that much I have gathered. But for all we know, the killer specifically targeted them and was no threat to the children. But it could be the complete opposite. Could have been targeting the children, parents protecting them. You know, we don't know. I'm trying to figure out the motivation. I don't want to assume. That doesn't help me. Miss Doglover, what's up? Yeah, this one's very interesting. You know, we know a little bit about the profile of somebody who might attack two individuals on a trail, right? We know a little something about that. We know a little bit about that MO. We know a little bit about similar cases and that profile of that killer. The killer letting the children go does make it look like a targeted event. Yeah, targeted, but why? For personal reasons, vendettas, or did it fit into a fantasy for a serial killer? Chief says he was supposed to start today hauling milk. Yeah, so the killings happened 2 days ago when he was starting his new job. So the only thing that seems relevant right now, as far as the unknown, is the timing of the move. Why would you move? What caused you to move? Why'd you, what's going on? Does that have anything to do with the timing of the murder or the murders of Clinton and Cristen? Were they moving to a small town environment? The place that they were moving from wasn't that big, but it was bigger. So I don't know. Did he have a conflict at work? Did he know something? Did he and his wife know something? I don't know. But the timing of the move and the timing of the murders is one of the big things that stands out to me when I search for the motive. Let's go to Moonshadow here. Welcome in, CJK. Good to see you. Supposedly, the father had made quite a few enemies online with his posts. Well, I hope we're not assuming that because he was wearing a MAGA hat. And how would some online predator know that they would be hiking? Maybe because it was posted online. So I don't want to jump to those types of conclusions. I don't want to find information right on the surface. What are we looking at below the surface? I don't want to jump from MAGA hat to crazy political vendetta. Unless you got something more. Something we can kind of swing around the room and put it up on the screen. Any word on how the parents were killed? I'm hoping the kids weren't asleep. Didn't witness. No, I believe they actually witnessed it. They were all hiking together as a family, and apparently it happened right in front of them. That's part of the reason I think it might be a serial killer, right? That's part of it. He's targeting a family. I'm going to kill their parents right in front of the kids. So I'm going to traumatize the kids. Or, their recent move might suggest that they had some problems back where they were leaving, back home. They had to get out of there. Maybe the wife had a stalker. Maybe the husband was involved in something. Saw something, seen something. Yeah, I thought so. Maybe the oldest. That's why I was kind of hesitant, Moonshot. I was like, I think maybe they might, because I looked into it briefly. But that happened so long ago, like way before 2015, like the separation. So I don't know. I don't know if maybe there's something there. Maybe a jealous wife hired a hitman, but I couldn't find anything. There's nothing that stood out as far as timing. I think it was a bladed instrument. No, he shot them. They were shot, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he used a gun. Here, let's look at some of these details here. Okay, the incident occurred on Saturday, July 26th, 2025, with Arkansas State Police notified around 2:40 p.m. So there you go. There's even more similarities with the Delphi murders. So it looks like it actually happened around 2:30. So there you go. So yeah, we definitely are know a little bit about these types of crimes, right? On a trail, middle of the day, targeting 2 victims. Well, technically it was 4, but homicide at Devil's Den State Park. Let's pull that up. Interesting place. So after visiting their Facebooks, I mean, I can tell they love to go hiking as a family. They love to go hiking. They love to go on vacation. Um, they have photographs of places very similar to this that they were hiking on. Wow, look at that. Okay. So throughout this entire live stream, we should ask the question: why would this happen to Clinton and Cristen? Why would some random guy? It's obviously premeditated, right? So we need to ask maybe more of a critical question: why was there a premeditated murder perpetrated against them? Right? He duct taped the license plate. I think he even had like a hat, sunglasses on, maybe. Now, did he target them just because he was looking for a random couple? He had this planned out. I'm going to go to a trail. I'm going to kill two people, preferably, some family, mother and a father. Or did he know them? Was this person stalking them, planning this, hired possibly? Um, you know, I think it's important to find out why they moved. What's up, Mickey? So was it a stabbing? I don't know why I thought they were shot. I think that might have been part of an early report. Let's see. The Brinks were found dead on a walking trail, specifically the Devil's Den Trail, 1.5-mile loop of moderate difficulty near the park's visitor center in a remote area, rugged terrain, thick vegetation, and no cell phone service. Okay, let's see here. 1.5 loop, moderate difficulty near park's visitor center. Okay, here's the visitor center right here. So I'm assuming somewhere out here, maybe. That's crazy. Who would have known they would have been there? If they were targeted personally, like, what the hell? How did. I mean, why do it this way? Like, look, let's say you've been hired or you have a vendetta. This to me has, killer written all over it. This doesn't have hitman. Like a hitman could come in, maybe wait at your house, get you while you're in your car, walk up to you, do it, leave. Like, why come to a public area like this? This all seems to fit into like a fantasy. Remember, killers are drawn to certain locations for the same reasons that we are, right? They're beautiful. The only difference is when we get there, we're enjoying time with our family. When they get there, they're thinking, "Wow, this place is really beautiful. I could I could hide a dozen bodies here." Right? That's the difference. Ruckus says interviewing children after an event like this is difficult. Yeah, of course. What's up, Frank? Cindy Lean, welcome in. Rodolfo, welcome. Oops. Uh, sorry if you guys saw a glitch or whatever. That was me. I lost like computer service or internet connection there for a second. Okay, the Brinks were found dead on a walking trail, specifically the Devil's Den Trail. Devil's Den Trail. So there's Devil's Den Road, and here's Devil's Den Trail. Okay, so it was located near the visitor center on Devil's Den Trail. So somewhere over here in this area. Okay, so this fits in with the killer's fantasy, right? Lurking. I mean, them would have to time planning out, knowing that they would be here. That just doesn't seem likely to me. This seems more like a killer fantasizing and planning out this location and maybe looking for somebody that fits that description, right? Some type of couple, husband and wife. All right, let's see here. So, thick vegetation and no cell phone service. So maybe that's something the killer knew, familiar with the location. The victims, Clinton and Cristen Brink, who had recently moved to Prairie Grove. So I think Prairie Grove is just like 12 miles away. I think it's somewhere up here. 19.6 miles. All right, very small town. He was going to be a milkman delivering milk. He started today, actually. What about the guy who owned the house that he lived in? You know, that's another thought that just kind of crept in my mind. Like, what if somebody lost their house to like a bank foreclosure or something along those lines? These guys move in. The creep's just kind of living out of his car, stalking them from the street, you know, following them around, watching the house. I don't have anything to support that, but it's just a thought, you know, something correlating to the recent move. Are they running from something? Did they disturb somebody during the move? Um, you know, something along those lines. Yeah, that place is beautiful, Mark. And that's the disturbing thing about it. You know, these people right around my age, we need to go more. You know, I myself to paranoid and prepared person. How do you can never, this is what I'm telling you guys, the serial killer or the psycho killer lottery. These are your new contestants, Clinton and Kristen. Just possibly normal people going about their um, going to life, just enjoy each other. There's any way to for that. You're having you could have an AR-15 strapped to your back and a bulletproof vest, and you're just going to be walking and smiling and daydreaming and thinking about your children's future, your future, and then boom, some weirdo comes walking out from the trees, goes creeping into your Kings Road home. Why? There's no real reason. says stabbing. Most of them was gunshot. Okay, let's see. Moving to Prairie Grove, Arkansas, from out of state, previously living in Miles City, Montana, and parts of California. California and South Dakota. Clinton was scheduled to start a job as a milk delivery driver for Hilliard Dairy in Fayetteville on July 28th, 2025. All right. Did he take somebody's job? Right? Was somebody fired because Clinton interviewed for this job? Like, all right, we've had it for you. We've had it with you. I got to fire you. Yeah, well, good luck finding a new delivery driver. Well, we already did. Right? Maybe that guy's pissed off. But I don't know. Don't they targeted into the spider web. Hey, what's up, Don? Okay, the couple was hiking with their two daughters when they were attacked. The children were armed and are now safe with family members. And will call to the park that their parents were assaulted, stabbed. See, it says here one possibly stabbed. Family statements indicate the Brinks died heroes protecting their little. Security on that, right? It's important if they were shot or stabbed. It's about the offender. The suspect is a white male of medium build. Here, I think I have this. Here's the sketch right here. Likely injured during the attack. Last seen wearing a long sleeve dark shirt with rolled up sleeves. Initial reports mistakenly mentioned a tank top. Dark pants or shorts, a dark baseball cap, sunglasses, fingerless gloves, similar to weightlifting style gloves, carrying a black backpack. He was seen driving a black four-door sedan, trick or day, traveling on State Highway 170 or 220. Okay, so there's 170. I don't know. Must have been 170. All right. ASP released a composite sketch of a person of interest seen in the park on July 26th, urging the public to help identify him for questioning. So, man, here we go again with the Delphi murders, right? This guy's we just want to talk with him. He was seen there around the time of the murders. He's not a suspect. We just want to communicate with him. No, this is the guy they're looking for. Yeah, Cindy, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe seeing a happy couple with kids is what he wanted to destroy. Yeah, projecting his childhood trauma. Those are the vibes I'm getting. I agree with you. Georgie, what's up? I read there was no phone signal in that area. That's what I read as well. All right, let's see here. Looks like the FBI is involved. Okay, let me see. Investigators are asking parkers to review cell phone photos, videos, or GoPro footage for images of the suspect. Residents near the park are urged to check security or game camera footage. ASP emphasizes that such footage should be sent directly to authorities. You can call 479-751-6663, extension 2. And please do not post it online to avoid interfering with the investigation, ASP asks. The, the Arkansas State Crime Lab is determining the cause of death, while a 911 call suggested one victim was possibly stabbed, and a criminology expert noted the use of a knife indicates premeditation and experience with violence. No official confirmation of the weapon or motive has been released. So we don't know for sure yet, but it sounds like most likely will be a knife or bladed weapon. Mr. Brown, a criminology assistant professor at Arkansas State. Hold on. Ooh, had to sneeze there. Okay, so Mr. Brown phone service makes Devil's Den deal premeditated crime, suggesting the suspect planned the act and may have fled far. Over 100 miles. Suspect was further support. I feel like we're dealing with some kind of a serial killer. I don't know if it's a national park. Yeah, it's a state park. There you go. Thanks, Louise. Boston, I'm going to look it up after arrested. First attack, innocent bystander was released without having to post bail, then did it again on another innocent man in Colorado. Yeah, Louise, that's exactly who I was thinking of. Israel Keys. Remember, he did other crimes too. He was a bank robber. So I think with this type of killer, I think other crimes might fit the profile. You know what I mean? He might fit into other profiles too. Maybe somebody who has a drug problem. Remember, Koberger had a drug problem and he used a knife to kill innocent people. And it really didn't have anything to do with drugs. But I could see him after committing those murders having no problems or something to get what he needs. Israel Keys did. There's Kristen. Yep. A lot of bad. It's just not a good. All right. Anyone with information or foot, like I said, you can call 479-751-6663, extension 2, or call 911 if you're local, and they'll tell you what you need to do. All right. So who were they? The Brinks were a married couple who had recently moved to Prairie Grove, Arkansas, a small town near Fayetteville. They previously lived in Miles City, Montana. So let's go to Miles City, which isn't a big place either. It's much bigger than Prairie, that's for sure. But all the way from Miles City, Montana. So were they running from some? Did they destroy at the? Maybe somebody that's upset about losing their job. Maybe became infatuated. To Kristen too. That loan, the pair has a connection. Maybe it's a. Okay, so they previously lived in Miles, Montana, and had ties to California. With where the attack occurred. So this attack, I wonder if there was any issues there. Jealous previous lover, maybe. No evidence to support that, but just a thought. The timing doesn't back that up either, considering that these two have been married for quite some time. Clinton David Brink. Clinton was set to begin a new job as a milk delivery driver for Highland Dairy in Fayetteville on July 28th. All right, so where the hell is Fayetteville? Oh, so Fayetteville is a large city north of Prairie. They would have had to driven through Fayetteville on the way to their new home. Maybe they were followed. That's a long drive. I'm sure they had to get into a U-Haul and drive it, unless they hired a company to do all that for him. Maybe his new job did it for him. That happens. But maybe somebody looked hostile and began following them. But then again, the timing, the devil's den, right? I feel like the evidence is pointing to more of not targeting Clinton and Cristen, but targeting the devil's den. Maybe even because of its name, right? know, suffering from psychopathy, maybe because, maybe he's more drawn in the ambush points. All right. And if it seems like I'm breaking up, I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen. That might help. Let me close down Google Maps to get into the mutate. Okay, limited personal information is available, but he was described as a devoted family man, and his Facebook backs that all up. I would have showed you guys the Facebook, but there's just a lot of images of the kids, and I don't want to go through all that. The family statement noted that he died a hero, protecting his little girls during the attack, suggesting he attempted to shield his daughter from the assailant. So, for all we know, this killer jumped out of the woods and attacked the kids and were protected by their parents. So, that makes it difficult. Was this person targeting two grown adults, or is, for whatever reason, was he sexually motivated in targeting two young children? Most psychotic killers are going to look for a very easy and vulnerable target. So if he's targeting the children, I'm wondering if at some point they were, I don't know, maybe from their, kids like to run off. It's like, as long as I can see that. But sometimes in the wilderness is a long distance. So maybe somebody didn't see the parents, saw the kids, and he was laying in wait. Says, "Oh, here's two vulnerable victims," not noticing the parents, and then they get into a struggle. What's up, Fishy? Kristen earned an associate's degree in nursing from Miles Community College in Miles City, Montana, in 2022. No details are she's on the Delphi. Something even more similar to the Delphi murders. Like Clinton, she was portrayed as a protective parent, with the family emphasizing her heroic actions to safeguard their daughters. So if they're both being killed to save their kids, it does paint a picture that the perpetrator was really trying to make an effort to get to these young children. Okay, so we have the case of Travis Decker too. Remember, he targeted his young children, and he's definitely out of his mind, right? Is it possible that he made it all the way over there to Devil's Den? Stolen vehicle. Maybe he has a victim. Because honestly, people like this who are on the run, they could break into an elderly person's home, commit the murder. Nobody even realizes that those persons are deceased. They're retired. They don't keep in contact with their family members for weeks at a time. So, for all we know, Travis Decker's driving around in one of his victims' vehicles. Let's see if we can do like a side by side. I thought they had an updated sketch of him. Oh, here, we'll try this. There might be a better one. But here, let's put this up on the screen. Later. David says audio is really bad. Is it? Is it that bad? Maybe we'll have to. So, have you guys been following the Travis Decker murders? Oh, this is the one I was looking for. Here we go. Here, let me pull this one up instead. Chai says, "Yeah." Are they? Is it still? Is the audio still bad? Here, we can always try this. Refresh it. I mean, is it even possible? I mean, he killed his three little girls. There's got, he's definitely suffering from psychosis, and I'm talking about Travis. There's something in his mind motivating him to kill those precious children. And it seems like in this case, whoever killed Clinton and Cristen were determined to get to those young girls. What's up, Barbara? Yeah, because I can fight and I'm usually prepared. But what happens if at that one moment you're just daydreaming and here comes this psychotic, sadistic killer coming after you or one of your family members? Here, let me try to zoom in on this one here. I don't know. Is that too far fetched? Okay. So the Brinks were parents to two young daughters who were unharmed in the incident and are now safe with family members. All right, let's try to profile this killer. Time for our sleuth crew amateur profile. Hey, Sensei. I'd say there's similarities: eye shape, mouth, possibly jawline. What about the fact that he was targeting those two little girls? I mean, they don't know where Travis is. And this dude is extremely dangerous. And I figure if he's hiding out, he's bouncing from wilderness park to wilderness park. Like here in Arizona, you can find a campsite and you can stay there for 14 days. Days is up, you can just literally move across the street to another campsite and stay there for another 14 days. Karen says, doesn't look like him. He does kind of wear hats like that too. But who knows? Just a thought, just a thought. Okay, so we're looking for a white male, medium build, likely injuries, right? From the reports. ASP noted the suspect was likely injured during the attack, possibly due to a struggle with the victims, who were described as dying heroically while protecting their daughters. So the more and more that we cover these details, the more and more it appears that the little girls were targeted. What type of killer are we looking for? We're looking for maybe somebody like a Travis Decker, somebody that's completely out of their mind, having hallucinations, audible, visual hallucinations. Initially described as wearing a dark tank top, but updated to a long sleeve dark shirt with rolled up sleeves, dark pants or shorts, a dark baseball cap, and sunglasses. Wore fingerless gloves, possibly weightlifting style, and carried a black backpack. Seen driving a black four-door sedan, possibly a Mazda, with the license plate obscured by electrical or duct tape, heading toward a park exit, potentially in State Highway 170. All right, so him duct taping the license plate is a premeditated murder. What's up, Brad? Did you see the News Nation pic of his back they just put out? No. Let's get a look. Of whose back? Travis or the suspect here? Let me ask you that first. Oh, okay. This guy right here? Hold on. Yeah, he looks. I don't know if this is the one you're talking about. State authorities released suspect detail sketch image and Devil's Den slayings. Released an image of a man they are seeking to identify. Oh, shit. Yeah, this is breaking news right here. Thank you so much, Brad. Here, let me go ahead and snip this real quick. Yeah, this helps a lot. That's not Travis. That is not Travis. Thank you, Brad. I appreciate that. All right, this is breaking news. Let's pull this up. Here's our suspect. Looks kind of short. Has a duffel bag. Notice he's wearing all black, right? Premeditated killer wearing all black. Can't tell, are those brown shoes or black shoes? This tells me that he might be homeless, right? Living out of his car, maybe. Brad, is this the photo? Well, law enforcement, as we read earlier in the live stream, is asking the public if they were out there that day. Very similar to what happened on the during the Delphi investigation early stages, or the Idaho college killings. Right? They ask everybody, "Hey, do you have? Let me get your ring footage." Anybody that might have been videotaping, walking out there, live streaming. So it's probably not a coincidence that this guy has his back turned. He's not a large man. He looks to be older, right? He has an older man's ears. I'm going to say anywhere between 40 and up, right? Unless he has an ear injury. No, his ear looks all fucked up. White male. Come on, guys. What do you see? Is it Kai or K? I want to call you Kai. Jennifer, welcome in. Witnesses said he looked to be in his 20s. Yeah, trust me. Witnesses are not that helpful. And it's not that witnesses aren't that helpful. It's that our recollection isn't very helpful. We're going on about our day, right? We're just having a great time hanging out. I'm hiking. I'm having a beautiful day. Yay. You pass somebody. Boom. He walks by you to your right. You keep on hiking. More people pass you on your left. You might even bump into somebody. You talk to them. And while you're talking to them, somebody passes around you guys. Like you remember seeing them. And then when you go try to remember that, here comes this image. Your mind, it's basically like AI, right? It starts meshing all this image together like an AI image. And it's just working with what it has, whatever was left over from inside your memory. But the pieces often kind of come together funky. But that's why this right here is important. This photograph right here. Fuck a witness. You need a photograph. A good one, too. Brad, I don't think this is trail cam. You want to know why? Because I think if it was trail cam, they would have different angles of him as well, right? This appears to be a position that you don't just walk into, right? You don't just shuffle backwards going side to side. You would have to walk in, you would get a side view, and then you would see the person turn. Hair, yep, short hair. What else, guys? What do we see? What's going on with this black long sleeved shirt? Like, what are we seeing here? What kind of shirt is that? It almost looks like like Jaws, right? Something blue, the ocean. This plus the sketch looks like a good match to potential suspects, in my opinion. Um, so let's pull up the actual sketch here. So there's the face to the guy. Looks like layers of clothing and baggage packs. Well, he even looks like the bridge guy. He's got a scarf, short guy. I don't know if he has layers on, but I do see a long sleeve shirt. I don't see any other layers other than whatever this is, maybe a mask. This might be a mask that he could quickly put up over the bottom of his face. Similar to Delphi. Remember the guy had the bottom of his face covered? Richard? Same type of crime, same type of MO. We could be looking at the same kind of a killer. Duffel bag and the backpack are odd to carry together. Yeah, what's the purpose of that? Maybe a change of clothes? You commit the murders, you put all your bloody clothes in this bag, take out a clean pair, another pair of shoes. So maybe he has shoes, pants, and a shirt in this duffel bag right here. Or he's homeless. But honestly, guys, this looks like a premeditated kill. Man, what are we dealing with here? Okay, vehicle seen driving a black four-door sedan, possibly a Mazda, with the license plate obscured by electrical or duct tape, heading toward a park exit, potentially on State Highway 170. Last seen at Devil's Den State Park on July 26, 2025, fleeing the scene after the attack, which occurred before 2:30 p.m. Man, this shit is a lot like the Delphi case. 2:30. This guy even matches the description. Maybe we're dealing with a family man going through a hard time. Thought he could sexually assault two kids that were alone. Maybe he thought they were alone, but they weren't. Okay, premeditation and planning. Wait, what is that? Oh, that's part of the duffel bag right here. Okay, so I wonder what he has in here. I mean, there might be a firearm right here. I mean, I guess he could be young. And this just could be like a photo anomaly. It's all fucked up. It almost looks like he had surgery on it. Like they stitched it up right here. Maybe he has cauliflower ear. Yeah, this is a really good photo. Shout out to whoever took this photo. Wow. Notice the shoes. These look like those slip-on shoes that you get at Walmart. What the hell's that? What is that? Light brown hair? Strawberry blonde? Yeah, this looks like maybe an outfit that he bought recently. You know, brand new pants, brand new shoes, just something cheap at Walmart. So, one of the things that they should do is go check the security footage at the local Walmart, the nearest clothing store, like the nearest Walmart there, where somebody most likely purchased a long sleeve black shirt, definitely oversized, right? He's wearing it like a smock. Keep the blood off. These pants look shiny, maybe some brand new Dickies, some $5 slip-on Walmart shoes. And his regular clothes are in here. Mark, yep, protecting their children. That's what we're reading. Remember, guys, this case is still unfolding. We don't have all the facts. We may have to correct a lot of this information, and I'm okay with that. But right now, it sounds like they were protecting their family, and the girls were targeted by this man here potentially. But we know what's up, right? They're looking for the bridge guy in this case. They say, oh, well, we don't know if he's the killer, he's the suspect. But they know. They know that he's most likely the man they're looking for. Right? The guy that has his back turned to the camera. Kai says brown hair. Mark, light brown hair. Okay, light brown hair. How tall do you think this guy is? I say 5'6". Anywhere between 5'5" and 5'6". Maybe 5'7". Near a shelter. Moonshadow looks like he is waiting and watching for something below him. Another trail the victims are on. He is not walking but perched on the edge of a trail drop down. That's a great observation. And it looks like from the images that we saw earlier, remember on Google, it does look like it appears to wind down. It's a great observation, Moonshadow. So he may be stalking, right? He's dressed in his kill kit, even as his bag. I don't know. I'm not convinced that this bag tells me he's a transient. This bag might play a key role into his getaway in hiding evidence, right? Keep it all concealed in one location. Then you can just burn that bag. All he has to do is dump that bag, burn that bag. Everything's consolidated in there. So I don't know if this is giving me, if this is a clue that he's a transient, right? Typically, a transient might carry around a duffel bag. Maybe he's traveling. But to me, I feel like this might be part of his plan here. And there's really nothing in the bag. So what that could mean is he could have a t-shirt underneath here and possibly maybe another pair of pants underneath. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Brown eyed girl, 5'6". I think that's pretty accurate. That's how tall I am, and that's about what this guy looks like. He does look like he has a stocky upper build. So maybe he does have fighting experience, or maybe military, something physical. He looks like he's got pretty big shoulders. He's got chicken legs, but a larger upper. He's like all neck and shoulders. Five seven, 5'9". Yeah, I'm gonna stick with between 5'6" and 5'8". Because I think this T-shirt is misleading right here. He's got a very oversized T-shirt. Under 6 feet. I agree. Welcome in, Janet. Patty says even shorter, 5'4", 5'5". Yeah, he could be. He could be really, really tiny. No, I don't see a beard, Barbara. That's like the tree over here. But here, let's put the sketch back up. So apparently this is the front of him. So you see the straps of the bag on the sketch? So scruffy, no beard, kind of like a flattened nose, it seems like, pouty lips, and angry eyes. He's got angry eyes. And I can't get a logo off of that. I think that might even be just where you can kind of slip in your information. Little identifier. Can't make out any logos on the hat. I'm not sure what this is. To me, I feel like it's like a mask you can just pull up over your face. Trying to get his whole body in the thing and then put this back up. All right, let's continue on with this profile here. Okay, choice of location. So we're going to talk about the premeditation and the planning. Look, he looks like a planned killer. What did Brian Koberger do when he committed his murder? He dressed in all black, right? He planned it all out. We know that this is a pre-planned crime. The guy duct taped his damn license plate. So I think he targeted the location, not the family, and saw those two young girls, and that's what he wanted. The attack occurred on the Devil's Den Trail, a 1.5-mile loop in a remote area with rugged terrain, thick vegetation, and no cell phone service. Ideal for avoiding immediate detection. Dr. Brown, a criminology assistant professor at Arkansas State, suggested the location indicate premeditation, as the suspect likely chose it for isolation. Right? Fantasizing about killing. He's trying to figure out, how do I go from point A to point B? How do I get to killing my victim? Well, I need to target a location and set a trap, a choke point, like a spider setting his web, waiting for the smaller insects to get stuck. So that might be what we're seeing here on the screen, is the spider, standing on the tippy top of his spider web, just waiting. Concealment tactics. The obscured license plate covered with tape and attire, sunglasses, cap, gloves. Too bad we don't get a good view of those gloves. Could indicate preparation for a physical act while maintaining grip, possibly for handling a weapon like a knife. Definitely. So that almost even tells us experience, right? Last time I did this, I cut my hand. Right? This time I'm going to wear gloves. So we're almost seeing signs of the evolution of a killer. Right? We talked about the evolution of a killer with Michael Klunder. Remember, his first attack was with an older woman. He tried to kidnap and sexually assault an older woman. She got away, fought him back, even though he's this large man, right? She got away. And then he got caught. So then he did the complete opposite and kidnapped 2 3-year-olds. And then he realized, well, even though it was much easier for me to abduct them, I'm not really interested in these kids. So he left them in dumpsters. So he returned for his third try somewhere in the middle, which would be a young teenage girl, right? Not so much a complete infant. He really wants the older woman. He's into older women, but he's a psychopathic killer. He needs a vulnerable target, not some young, vibrant, strong victim. So he had to adapt to what he was trying to do, which was get from point A to point B, fulfill his sick fantasy, but he was having trouble getting from point A to point B, and he was correcting his errors along the way. Is that what we're seeing here with this guy with the gloves? Last time I did this, maybe some other state, I cut my hand, or I dropped the weapon, or maybe one of his victims took it from him and he had to use a secondary weapon. So maybe that's what we're seeing, is the evolution of a killer. So when I hear things like gloves and he's not trying to hide his fingerprints, that's what it tells me. Brad says, crazy hot outfit for this weather. Yeah, it seems like he's trying to keep blood from getting all over his person. What's up, brown eyed girl? You've been gone. What's up, Janet? Knives can be concealed. What do you mean by that? Loose shirt, neckline. Yeah, maybe he was trying to hide his description. Could it be a girl? No, it's not a girl, right? His shoulders seem too big. Whoever this is seems to have like a strong back. So maybe they have history in a warehouse or something involving upper body strength. Yeah, we'll leave it like that. Mental patient who is homeless would have been caught by now. I would think a person who did this has experience in killing on the run, like that guy Gary murdered in Georgia, North Carolina several years. Yeah, this could be a serial killer, you guys. This looks like somebody who could easily go park the car in some barn or in some storage unit, or maybe it was stolen out of, a neighboring state. And then he just goes right back home. Hey, honey, I'm back from my sales trip, or something along those lines. And he just goes right back to his normal life. Maybe in 2 years, he goes out and does something very similar to this. I mean, somebody's got to recognize this guy. Unless normally he dresses in like a button down shirt, tucked in like Flanders, right? Never wears a hat, and definitely wouldn't be seen in these kind of shoes or whatever. Maybe he's going out of his way to look different, I guess is what I'm getting at. All right, let's continue on here. Okay, fingerless gloves could indicate preparation for a physical act while maintaining grip, possibly for handling a weapon like a knife. While the cause of death is pending autopsy results, a 911 call indicates one victim was possibly stabbed. So I think we're looking at a stabbing. Dr. Brown noted that using a knife suggests familiarity with violence and premeditation, as it's a deliberate choice over more opportunistic weapons. Right? If this was some kind of a hit, somebody hired this man to attack this family, it would probably be a gun. And it wouldn't be in a public area, where you would struggle escaping the scene. It'd be somewhere where you have main highways and freeways, something like that. This to me feels like a killer who picked this location and waited for the right time. Yeah, very scruffy. Doesn't seem to be concerned about fingerprints, Jari, unless he has multiple gloves on. He could have rubber gloves on and then these other gloves to provide the grip. I don't know. Right now, Kai, I'm not picking up on that. I'm getting more of a serial killer vibe right now. I'm picking up more of that the location was targeted, not the family. For all we know, it could have been a misunderstanding. This guy may not have seen the parents. They maybe they weren't paying attention and the kids ran way ahead. And then we have like a Richard Allen type of person. He just saw them and very compulsive. And didn't become extremely violent until the parents showed up. Thank you, Mark. All right, let's continue on here. While the cause of death is pending autopsy, a 911 call indicated one victim was probably stabbed. So that's what we're looking at, I think, is a stabbing. We had some of you comment that that was part of some of the reports that you were reading. What about the motive? No motive has been disclosed by ASP, and the attack's randomness, targeting a couple hiking with children, suggests it could be opportunistic or driven by personal pathology. The lack of harm to the children, ages 7 and 9, may indicate a targeted act against adults or specific grievance, though this remains speculative without further evidence. Yeah, this could have been a kidnapping gone wrong for all we know. Right? Guy grabs one of the girls, tries to take off running. The parents see, run over and grab him. The guy pulls out the knife. And then they get stabbed. The wife comes to try to help the husband, and then she gets stabbed. There's just so much we don't know. So we might have to change our trajectory on where we're going with our theories and our profile, but this is what we have for now. All right. The suspect's swift exit in a vehicle with a concealed license plate and the 6-hour delay in public notification due to the remote location suggest he planned to flee far, possibly 100 miles or more, before law enforcement could mobilize widely. Dr. Brown estimated the suspect could have reached another state by the time ASP's first statement was released. So Dr. Brown feels like this might be a serial killer, right? Planning this murder, planning this location. And maybe that's what we're looking at. Are we looking at a man who, after months of training, this is him finally standing right in the smack dab in the middle of that plan, targeting? Karen, yeah, maybe even possibly military training, comfort with the knife, knowing exactly what it does to skin and flesh. Some killers, the first time they use a weapon, sometimes it's the first time they've ever shot a gun or used a knife. They've reported they were shocked. They were shocked by how easy it was or by how hard it was. Certain things that were very unexpected for these fledgling killers. This guy, I'm not getting those vibes. He seems like he's made a few mistakes before. Or not. Could just be a homeless guy that went crazy. My question is, why was he photographed? Why was he photographed? Was he acting creepy? And who took the picture? Well, law enforcement were asking anybody that was on the trails that day to provide video. So this could be law enforcement taking a clip from a video of somebody in the background, kind of like the bridge guy. All you people in the TV business, what do you see? You don't see what's over here and you don't see what's over here. So this could just be a clipping, and it could just be maybe a family walking by and this guy's in the background. Maybe a hunter. Yeah. That's what I was said earlier, Mark. Serial killer. Select, he could be a Satanist. He could feel like he's possessed by some kind of demonic force. A lot of serial killers, after they've been caught and they choose to confess in detail. A lot of them, most of the famous, high profile, prolific killers talk about being possessed by a demonic force. Some even give it a name. So maybe he did, he has this demonic force he perceives as controlling him to kill, and he's selecting dark locations. Part of his signature, maybe. And a lot of times these killers will leave a signature, and law enforcement they won't even pick up on it. Remember, the happy face killer got frustrated. He said, I was leaving these signatures all over the place and nobody was picking it up. So I just started drawing smiley faces. Janet, that's right. Welcome in. Gloves to protect his hands from getting cut if they slip. Yeah. As if he's learned his lesson or he's had time to think about everything, right? Dot his I's and cross his T's. Could have been surprised by the girls because he's got witnesses. They got away. Yeah, it could be reversed, right? It could be that he was targeting the couple and didn't see the kids, right? So they could still be separated, but instead of him targeting the kids, he's targeting the parents. And then here come the kids and scare them away. Yeah, I'm curious to know what time this was. How long was this creepy guy kind of lurking around? Okay, what about potential experience? The use of a knife, concealment tactics, the choice of a remote location suggests the suspect may have prior experience with violent crime or knowledge of evading detection. Dr. Brown noted that such planning indicates someone experienced in this sort of thing. Yeah, and this photograph tells 1,000 words. You know what? He's plotting. Mark says, "I agree. These killers don't think anything like how we do, and we have to put ourselves in their mind. And it's not easy. It's hard to put yourself in the shoes of somebody that's not making any sense. That's driven by something that we can't even understand. Right? The things to us we think, oh, jealousy, betrayal, but this guy could be driven by something completely different that doesn't make sense to anybody. Some kind of something stemming from violent childhood trauma. He could have some kind of weird, unexplainable anger that he's, for whatever reason, directing at his victims that can only be explained by him. Brad says somebody will see this and recognize him. I think so too. Unless the reason we're looking at this guy and he looks kind of strange is to prevent that from happening. Right? We said that with Kathy Allen in the Delphi case. How did somebody not recognize him? Well, if this is a pre-planned crime, you don't think that he thought, well, if somebody takes a photograph of me, maybe my family will recognize me in that photo. That could explain the weird long black shirt, the duffel bag, the backpack. I don't know what this is. It looks like maybe a face cover, a dust cover for your lower face, a hat. This could be completely different than what he's normally wearing. Could be like a Ted Flanders type, your average square. All right, let's get into the psychological stuff here. Okay, attacking a couple in broad daylight with their children present suggests a high-risk mindset, possibly driven by thrill-seeking, desperation, or confidence in evading capture. The presence of witnesses, the daughters, increases the risk, implying either impulsivity or extreme calculation. The suspect's choice of Devil's Den, familiarity with its trails, and the use of nearby highways suggests possible local knowledge or prior reconnaissance. However, the vague description, white male, medium build, fits a common demographic in the Northwest. Physical capabilities. The ability to overpower two adults, Clinton 43 and Cristen 41, in a physical altercation, even if one was injured, suggests the suspect is physically capable and possibly younger or in good condition. The likely injury indicates a struggle, reinforcing Brinks' reported heroism. Okay, so this guy has an injury. So if you guys are wondering, hey, is this guy my uncle, my dad, my brother, my neighbor, my teacher, my friend? He would have some kind of an injury on him. Most likely from the blade, right? He's like, damn, not again. So the next time he commits a murder, he's going to think about that and how to fix that, which will change the description the next time, the evolution of a killer, right? Learning from their mistakes. It's good to see you, Davey. Inquisitive, what up? It's good to see you. Janet possibly has the inability to have any empathy for his victims. Brain functions differently. Exactly. It's hard to put yourself into the shoes of somebody like that, no matter how hard we try. Okay. And that's one of the things I did notice. He seems like he's not like a huge guy or anything, but he doesn't have tiny, bony shoulders. He looks like he does have some strength in the arms here and the upper back. And I don't know if this is just pareidolia, issues with the pixelation of the photo, but there seems to be something wrong with his ear. Unless are those piercings? Something's going on there. Serial killer vibes, has some sort of grudge. I think that's the shadow. This looks to be like in some kind of a shadowy area. Okay. Possible scenarios: local or transient offender. The suspect could be a local with knowledge of the park or transient passing through using the park's isolation to their advantage. The covered license plate suggests preparation for a quick escape, possibly indicating non local status. The premeditated nature with the knife and concealed identity raises the possibility of prior or future offenses. Though no connections to other crimes have been reported, the randomness of targeting a couple with children could suggest an opportunistic act or a specific but unknown motive. The suspect's likely injuries could lead to medical treatment, providing a potential lead if he seeks care. However, if he avoids hospitals or uses cash based clinics, this trail may be cold. So, with the information that we have provided, the suspect is likely a white male, medium build, physically capable, and possibly experienced in violent crime. Given the premeditated nature of the attack, his choice of a remote trail, use of a knife, per 911 reports, and concealment tactics, obscured license plate, sunglasses, gloves, suggest planning and familiarity with evading detection. The attack's boldness, targeting a couple with children present, indicates a high-risk mindset, while the likely injury suggests a struggle. The suspect's escape in a black sedan, possibly a Mazda, and use of rural highway points to a calculated getaway, potentially aided by local knowledge or reconnaissance. The generic description and remote setting make identification challenging. All right, let's take a look at one similar case. Maybe they're connected. Right, Mary Cooper and Susanna Stoddard. So I'm going to play a video about their case, and I'll also read you some notes. Okay, Mary Cooper and Susanna Stoddard. This happened in Pinnacle Lake, Washington in 2006. Mother and daughter shot to death while hiking. No suspects ever identified. Case remains cold. Mary Cooper was the mother. Susanna Stoddard was the daughter. July 11th, 2006. Pinnacle Lake Trail near Mount Rainier National Park, Washington State. Mary Cooper and Susanna Stoddard were hiking together on a trail near Pinnacle Lake. Both were shot and killed while on the trail. The bodies were discovered shortly after the incident, right? Very similar to this. No eyewitnesses to the shooting. Law enforcement conducted a search and investigation, but were unable to identify any suspects. Maybe this is why I originally thought that they were shot. No arrests have been made, and the case remains unsolved. The FBI investigated and considered possible suspects, including serial killers known in the area. Wow. But no definitive links were established. So here, let me share my screen. It's just I didn't realize it was just a black screen. Like, what the hell? Yeah, I think you might be right, Barbara. Okay, let's look at this case here. Mary Cooper and Susanna Stodden.
It was along the rugged Cascade Mountain Trail where the grim discovery of two bodies was made this morning.
I can't tell you how long they've been there. I don't believe we know that right now. Also, I don't know a cause of death. We'll let the ME determine that. We can tell you that it is a suspicious death.
Tonight, deputies cannot confirm the victims' gender, ages, or hometowns. Admittedly, this is a tough investigation to begin with, but adding to the difficulty for the crime scene specialists is that all of their equipment, and they have a lot of it, has to be packed in some 3 miles from the trailhead. And privately now, law enforcement says this may not be a crime, and they have not ruled out the possibility wild animals may have killed the pair. We have learned they are chasing down one report of 2 bears being spotted last night at a nearby campsite. But again, until they know more, detectives are treating this case as a homicide. And now tonight, the Sheriff's Department is getting calls from families of hikers who are out in the popular trails that run off the Mountain Loop Highway. There's not much they can share with those concerned callers, or for that matter, anyone else.
I don't want to cause alarm where there isn't, but of course we do have 2 people that are deceased up on this Lake Pinnacle trailhead.
It was from this trailhead where 2 women set off on a day hike up to Pinnacle Lake. This afternoon, the medical examiner brought their bodies back down.
I think it's horribly sad. It is frightening.
Investigators say it appears the 2 were attacked by someone out on the trail, their bodies left out in the open for other hikers to discover. Tonight, authorities must send a warning that this may have been a random attack.
So they're kind of giving me the idea that the bodies were displayed. And really, there's only 3 reasons that killers stage a crime scene, right? Leaving a signature, there to shock, and I'm forgetting the 3rd reason. I'm sure you guys will remind me in the chat. But this appears to be what they were trying to do here was shock whoever it was that came across the crime scene.
I don't want to cause undue panic. We're going to step up our patrols out there and do what we can. But, you have to, again, use reasonable precautions. And that's the best advice I can give at this point.
Authorities have custody of the van belonging to the victims and hope to find some answers there. In the meantime, people using the area are heeding the warning to use extra caution.
You need to start looking at watching stuff around here a little closer.
Campground hosts Cheryl and Earl Robinette say this latest news will prompt them to urge caution among their campers.
Information that we can give our campers on how to be more safe up here. We always have been locking our doors at night. We'll definitely make sure they're locked.
It was along this trail where the mother and daughter were killed. The medical examiner has determined how they died, but won't tell us until the IDs are
A little worried.
near the Pinnacle Lake Trail.
All right, let's take a look at what Davey's talking about here. Saw on a Facebook group people saying he looks like Michael Allen Roth. I saw something from Jonathan JLR posting that. Let me pull that up. Wow, he looks like the sketch for sure. So here, let's pull. This is a report from JLR on X. This is probably before we had the image of the back of the suspect. So it says JLR put here, I noticed a creepy registered sex offender named Michael in Park. Ties to West Fork and Winslow. Let's see, what's his height? Let me see if I can find more information about this guy. Wrong guy. You know how mugshots usually tell you how tall people are? I can't find one like that. Edward says, not the guy. I mean, the ears kind of match. Hmm. Let's try Facebook. Stop that right now. What's up? Good to see you. Facial hair match for sure. And I'm sure that's what drew the attraction there. Close that. The hell was his name? Can't find him on Facebook. If you guys find him, send me the link to Sleuth Intuition. Oh, wait, is that him? Hold on. No. So there was one photo I just saw online that really does look like. Is it this one? Oh, is this one right here? I wish I knew how tall he was. He kind of has a long neck. I feel like this Michael Allen Roth guy might be a little bit taller than the suspect we're looking for. It's a little different. very much. Yeah. Faithful match. All right, guys, this is going to be our 5-minute warning. Boston says ears are different. Neck is different too. But if you look at the sketch here, they kind of emphasize the neck a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, Barbara, I think I agree with you. Good thing they're looking at sex offenders, though. You know, I ain't mad at them. Keep going, right? Keep looking, keep matching. Don't give up. Remember, no tip is too small. No piece of information is too ridiculous. Don't try to explain it away. Thank you, Jari. Good to see you. Yeah, if you guys want to support my channel, you can do so by donating to Cash App. If you can't hit the Cash App button, please hit the like button. There's a link for Venmo and Zelle in the description. And if you have any information relating to this case of Clinton and Cristen Brink, go to my description. There's a number to call there. And if you have a tip or any information that might be helpful, send it in directly there, okay? We'll continue to follow up on any updates. If you guys have anything interesting pertaining to this case, information or anything that might be helpful telling the story, send it to sleuthintuition@gmail.com. All right. And if you guys are part of that replay crew, you know exactly what to do. Drop a comment and we'll get back to you. If you guys are interested in any Sleuth Crew merch, just send me an email and I'll tell you how to get your hands on some. Thanks for hanging around, Barbara. It was nice having you in the chat. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. And that goes for all you new faces. It's good to see all of you. Big shout out to all of my members of my channel. And thank you, moderators, for all the hard work that you do. Have a